They want to know, if I'm investing money in a solar system, what is my payback? Am I going to recover my expense over a set period of time? 100% you're going to do it. PV is what makes you money. The inverter is just the central point of the installation. And that's where we come in. Solar power, that's the gift that keeps on giving. So as long as the sun shines, whether it's Labor Day or whether it's a work day, that thing's making money. And it's putting energy into your batteries. As long as you don't have to buy power from utility companies, you're saving.
Hello and welcome to the Solar Maverick podcast, where solar meets entrepreneurship and experience. I'm your host, Benoit Thangen, so let's get into it.
Hi, this is Benoit, your host of the Solar Maverick podcast. We're here at RE Plus in Las Vegas, which is happening September 11th to 14th. I'm really excited to have Andy Daniels.
That's correct.
And he is the head of tech support and training in the U.S.
Well, the USA, that's right.
Called Luxpower Tech. If you're not familiar with Luxpower Tech, they're an inverter manufacturer and they're coming into the U.S. market. This is their first conference.
Yeah, it's our second show in the U.S. and our first conference, yes.
That's amazing. Can you give a brief intro of Luxpower and your background and how?
Yeah, so Luxpower was generally a company that was formed in 2017, and it's formed by tech guys. The founders are engineers that come from the design market, and they formed the company in 2017. We were launched into the UK and Europe at the same year. By the end of 2017, sales had gone out. I met up with Luxpower in 2018 in China. I introduced the product to South Africa. In the last 5 years, we've grown the brand extensively.
That's pretty impressive. 200,000 plus systems installed worldwide.
That's correct.
In various scenarios, hybrid, off-grid, AC coupling, DC coupling.
Yes, most definitely. So I can speak volumes about the South African market. You know, we have a unique situation there where we have something called load shedding. It's typically scheduled power outage because the grid cannot sustain the demand. And that's been a big boost for Luxpower and many other manufacturers. So it's been a good market, and also it's been a fantastic testing ground for Luxpower to implement new innovations, new ideas, and test in real-time markets.
Luxpower experience since so far at RE Plus. We're now at the last day of the conference on Thursday.
Yeah, well, it's been phenomenal because we've had a lot of people come through that have seen the brand. We've had a lot of installers come through that have actually used the brand.
That's great.
They've started using it. We've gained a lot of traction through some popular YouTube channels, and I'm sure your listeners are going to check out our website podcast. So it's been great. You know, we're typically looking to grow our distributed network in the USA, in North America, Canada, and South America. That's why we're at the show.
Yeah, definitely. And it's amazing how big the show this year is in Las Vegas. There are about 42,000 people here at the conference. It was actually 28,000 last year. This is a great opportunity to introduce Luxpower to the U.S. market. Yeah. And I know like Luxpower is focused on localization in the U.S. market and all the markets that they work on. But I think this is another key differentiator, other than obviously the most important. He comes from an engineering background. Can you talk about like the localization?
Luxpower appointed a fantastic guy by the name of Edwin, who's also known as Eddie. He's based out in California, in LA. Yeah, he's been interacting with customers and distributors for the last couple of months. I'm joining the team now in the role of tech support and training. What we're doing is we have established a local premises in Chino Hills in LA, where we will be doing all of our training will be done out of there. It will be based there. We have a little warehouse that we can hold stock. So be able to service the local market a lot quicker. The thing that I've sort of mentioned that's very important for Luxpower is we're a service-driven company. One of the videos, I have a tagline that says, you know, with Luxpower, you get family. Yeah. That's basically what it is. You know, we want our installers and our distributors to know that they're joining a family. It's really family-driven team, and we're all about backup and tech support. You know, you can call us anytime. We have various channels of communication. Some of them are established already, and some are going to be established. So that's just the way that we're building up. We already know it's a solid product. We launched into the hybrid market in 2017, and there's been constant innovation. And one of the things that I myself, as an entrepreneur and as a distributor for Luxpower, is that what we've learned is that Luxpower is a company that listens to you. They are so eager to listen. They don't bring a product to the market and say, this is what we built, now make it work. Yes. They come to you and say, this is what we built. How can we make it better for you?
And that's amazing. I mean, that's huge because every market's unique in its own way. And I know you talked about how Luxpower customized the product for South Africa, and obviously customizing it for the US.
Most definitely.
Can you talk about like the current status of the US market? What's the journey of the US US to date. I know this is the second trade show. Maybe talk about the timeline or the number of states. I know you mentioned Chino Hills is where the training is and that you're local to that area. Talked about another key aspect of the localization strategy, customer service, which I think is a huge differentiator for manufacturers.
Yeah. So if you look at the very first machine that was brought into the country, the design, just the topology of the machine, and you look at the current variant of the machine, it's changed. We've added some extra features on there. We've got great partners in Texas and also on the East Coast. And if you look at how the machine has developed since it was launched in the USA, it's purely because of the feedback that we get from these partners that we have. Yeah. So what we realized with the US market is that the solar industry in the US, they're not in the early stage, it's an advanced stage age-wise. And a lot of the households have grid-tied inverters that are purely there for harvesting solar and feeding back. They were designed for energy saving. But now a lot of clients have changed the way they see it and they want to start storing energy purely because of the cost of energy during the day as well as peak tariff times. Yeah. So they want to be able to harvest power, store it in batteries and use it at a later time. And that's where the hybrid inverter comes in. It can be retrofitted to an existing system. So if you have a micro inverters or you have a grid-tied inverter system with solar panels on your house, but you want to add battery storage, this is the way to go.
Yeah, definitely. That's great that you explained it, especially with the US being a more sophisticated market. People want to take advantage of those high electricity price dispatch grid.
I mean, there are some utility companies that are buying back power. They can make good deals, So the barrier to entry any sort of renewable energy market for the end users was the cost. And now when we like to sort of have the tagline that the Luxpower brand is a bankable brand, it's something that you take to your finance company and you can raise the capital, you can finance the installation through our partner.
That's huge. And, obviously it's the inverter, but it's also the software, AI. Can you talk about Luxpower's energy storage app and intelligent power management system?
Look, from a very early time, right back to 2017, we realized that what makes the product stand out from our competitors is if we could develop our OEM user interface. So we have a web portal. First of all, we do not use a third-party monitoring app. So it's our own developed one.
That's a huge differentiator, by the way.
Yeah, so it's purpose-built. We have in-house firmware techs that are constantly working on updating it. So our end users can access their station or their plant through an online portal, which is web-based, which runs both on Android and on Apple, and it's very close to real time. And the great thing about that is not only can you see your station or your plant performing, but you can also check your notices, you can check maintenance, and you can change settings remotely. So I could be sitting here and I could work on stations in South Africa. Yeah, in real time. As long as they're web-based, we can do it.
That's pretty phenomenal. But also creating custom software for your technology, which is a huge differentiator in the market.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. And you talked about a little bit about partnerships and collaborations. I know primarily you're looking to partner with distributors to get the product out. Is there other partnerships and collaboration? Obviously, direct to the end user, I'm sure.
Yeah. So Luxpower, we've got to create a fair market for everyone. So we decided to go the route of using distributors and partners as our channel. We will heavily engage with end users. Customers can call us for assistance. They can check out our YouTube channel or they can contact us for tech support. But we will always funnel it through our distributor channels or our partner channels. So we don't sell directly to the end user.
Okay.
But we will direct them or channel them towards distributors or installers or tech support in their area.
That's great to know. And also, can you talk about local value? You mentioned some of the local values. Obviously, you have the office in Chino Hills, for offices and for training.
Yeah.
Can you talk about other societal benefits? Obviously, hiring local people here in the U.S.
Yeah, most definitely. Look, so the renewable energy market is a big market. I like to use the phrase that the sun shines for everyone. There's opportunities for everyone. So from a training point of view, if you're looking to get into the market as an installer, you might be a licensed electrician or a licensed installer and capable of doing the work, and you want to install our product, we'll train you, or we'll put you in custom training centers that are geared for advancing technicians to be sort of and installing our product. So that's the one way of doing it. We are employing local US-based citizens as well. And that's typically the way that we kind of investing in the country.
That's huge, investing in the country, building a long-term relationship.
We're here for the long run. We're in it to win it.
For sure. And you have to do it. And that's how you make it exponential, when you're in it to win it.
Yeah.
And doing the things that you're doing, Luxpower is doing to differentiate themselves. I mean, that's how you grow so dramatically in a very short period of time. You know it better than anyone. Obviously, bringing the Luxpower product South Africa. It's pretty interesting to hear. Okay. Can you talk about any sort of customer success stories focused on the US market? That would be interesting for the listeners that we call Solar Mavericks. You're a Solar Maverick.
Yeah. Look, being a Maverick is not easy, right? Because you're taking a chance. You know, you're really going out there and you're trusting that what you see in the brochure or what you heard about it is good. Then comes a time that you got to put down your wallet, your checkbook, and you got to put down some cash and put some investment into it. And for me, it's been a positive thing. You know, when you look at the build of the product, it's solid. You look at the components, it's good. We've got machines that are original installations in South Africa that just come up 5 years. They've been installed and running for the past 5 years. As a matter of fact, some of them are coming to the end of their warranty. And they're still going strong. You know, we haven't had any negative feedback with us and with any other manufacturer out there. You're going to hit snags along the way, but it's how we deal with it. You know, coming here this morning, we typically have and I said to that it's not the problem, it's how you solve it, right?
For sure.
We keep our ears open, we keep the lines of communication open. So success stories, I can tell you plenty, I can tell you a lot of it. But the most important thing for your clients, your listener base, the guys that listen to your podcast, they want to know, if I'm investing money in a solar system or a renewable energy system, what is my payback? Am I going to recover my expense over a set period of time? Most definitely. 100% you're going to do it. How do you do it? PV is what makes you money. You know, the inverter is just the central point of the installation. And that's where we come in. Solar power, that's the gift that keeps on giving. So as long as the sun shines, whether it's Labor Day or whether it's a work day, that thing's making money. And it's putting energy into your batteries. As long as you don't have to buy power from utility companies, you're saving. We look at the spreadsheets, or we look at the payback period for end users, most definitely it's positive.
One thing we haven't talked about yet that I think our listeners would find very interesting is the certification.
Yes.
That Luxpower has. Can you talk?
I can. So we're very by the book. We didn't come in through the back door or anything like that. So the most important thing for us in the USA and in any other country, as a matter of fact, Europe, South Africa, Australia, Middle East, the Far East, Japan, we've got installations in all of those countries. And the very first point of contact for us is having a look at the local certification process. What are the requirements for us to come into the market? We look at the standards, and in the US UL standard on the wall at the back here, we have all of our standards.
Impressive.
Yeah, we all of our standards and certifications. So what we do is we take the product as it is, and we take it to an external testing authority, which is recognized by the local country. Their certifications have to be recognized. We take our product to them. They test it according to the standard that's laid out, especially for UL and IE, and they will give us what works and what doesn't work. If we have to change, we make those changes. It's a very expensive process. It's insanely expensive to do. We have all of the certifications, and if we have a look at the list here, we've got C list, we've got SGIP listed. Those are important things, especially in California and other states where the listings are critical. You cannot do an installation without those listings, so we have those. And behind you here, we've got our battery partners as well. And where you see the UL 9540, that means that we partnered with those companies already, and the equipment's been tested with that, and we've got the certification.
Sure. That's a huge differentiator, especially coming into a market and getting new customers comfortable very quickly when they see these certifications.
We're not selling certification pending. We're certified first, then we're selling.
Well, that's huge because I've seen so many companies sell pending.
Yeah, there's nothing pending with us.
Yes, definitely my experience with the Luxpower team. Yes. Everyone seems to be very collaborative, listening, adapting, and that's very important as a small entrepreneurial company.
This episode of the Solar Maverick podcast is brought to you by Podcast Laundry, the podcast concierge service that I use to make sure that my listeners hear the best quality show. They do the dirty work of podcasting for me. Yes, graphics, quotes, show notes, master editing, and much more. All I have to do is record. So if you're a busy podcaster like me with an engaged audience and want to free up time to do more of what you love to do, like going to the gym or spending time with loved ones, go to podcastlaundry.com to schedule your consultation or call 347-871-8273. That's podcastlaundry.com or 347-871-8273. Thank you.
Earlier in the podcast, you mentioned like the primary product in the US is the hybrid product.
Correct, yes.
Can you talk more about that and other products? Because this obviously is, I know you have a lot of other products, but this is primarily
throughout the world, yes. The product that we decided to launch in the US is the 12K. It's the one on the wall here behind. So it's a 12 kilowatt hybrid inverter. It can take up to 18 kilowatts of solar. It's a full hybrid, meaning it can carry out a number of functions simultaneously, which means it can take power from utility. It can generate power from solar, charge and provide power to the loads at the same time simultaneously. And that's what makes a hybrid inverter unique. Many of our competitors are in the same playing field here. So that's particularly what it does. You asked me a question earlier on what's been our feedback. We've had techs come here. It's strange how sometimes the simplest things excite them for us. Yeah. We've got another product that we're launching next month. The certification has gone through. It's a 6 kilowatt eco hybrid. And we're bringing that product in on a price point because we realize that we're catering for a certain segment of the market, but there's a huge untapped market in the 6 kilowatt eco hybrid range. And that's what we're going to be launching. So I encourage your users or your listeners to keep an eye out on media, look out for the advertisements, with our partners, especially our partners who have got a huge following on social media, the various channels like media channels, and then, have a look out for the YouTube reviews as well. So it'll be big.
Yeah, definitely. That sounds really big. And I really appreciate you actually, if we'll have the video on this on the Solar Mavericks YouTube channel, so you can see Andy walking us through the hybrid inverter.
Yeah.
And that's huge as far as for the technician to make it easier.
Yeah. It's one more thing I want to point out.
Sure.
One of the newer innovations that we've added is, we've got the rapid shutdown system. A lot of states are now calling for that as a requirement. Our 12K has got on the user interface, it's got an RSD facility, which you can enable, but it also has external switching. So we can, with a Tigo system, so we can, on our monitoring app, if you're using that system, you can see each panel performance. When you're looking at it, you can see all of your panels, you can see what they're producing, you can see all the critical information. But not only that, you can rapidly shut down any one of them.
That's pretty amazing. So can you do it through the software, based on the app? That's a huge differentiator, and that's definitely a competitive advantage. As you said, more and more states are focused on rapid shutdown, but they're concerned about, fires and other things like that. That's great that you've been able to de-risk from that sense.
Yeah. Just to mention another two things, we've got the maintenance and setting tab. You can set the amount of power that you're bringing in through the utility so that the draw on the load and charging the battery never overwhelm the circuit breaker. That's something unique that we've got. And then another thing that we've got as well is neutral detect, which is great for our techs. Because it means that if you enable neutral detect, the technical guys will understand this. It measures, it looks for an elevated voltage between neutral and earth. And if it detects that, it goes into,
that's great.
It goes into standby. Yeah. There's potential for end use get shocked. So those are things that the techs will love.
Oh, definitely. You're putting very focused on making sure that a really bad situation doesn't happen. These sort of technology enhancements, which is huge because a lot of people are not thinking in that detail, and techs are very focused on this sort of stuff.
100%.
What's your envision of the future for Luxpower? I know the company was started in 2017. It's been dramatic growth over the 6 years. I'm sure there's been a lot of success and expansion into other markets, Europe, South Africa, now the US market. This is kind of the big introduction at RE Plus, which is the biggest renewable energy conference, I think, in the world. What do you see for the future of Luxpower, as well as maybe inverter technology?
So what we're doing is we're focusing on the residential market at the moment. It's a niche market for us. We're going to make sure that the innovative design behind it meets the demand of the market. Like I said to you, we're launching the Eco Hybrid soon. And then in the first quarter of next year, we'll be launching what we call the Trip 20, which is a 3-phase 20 kilowatt inverter. That's going to be our next launch. I would love for us to get into every aspect of the market. It's just too much. If we do that, we're going to spread ourselves incredibly thin, and we're going to lack on support. That for us is the critical part of business, is being able to focus on the end user and giving them support that they deserve. Because we appreciate every dollar that is invested into our product. We appreciate that. And the best way for us to show that is to continue to deliver a solid product to the market with the backup to backup.
To the backup. Yeah. Which is huge. I mean, when I hear this, it's very different from other companies, because the big thing that everyone at Luxpower said is service.
Yeah.
Service driven, where I feel like a lot of other companies are focused on getting the product out as quickly as possible and using venting and other things.
Yeah.
to go through the whole process and invest all the money to get all the certifications and partnerships, and then to focus on the service aspect is something that a lot of companies don't focus on.
Yeah.
Because they're focused on selling the product as quick as possible. And that's a huge differentiator, especially when you're looking to build long-term relationships with great partners. I know you were in Mexico for Intersolar earlier. It was, I guess, last week. Can you talk about maybe some of the contrasts that you're seeing from the U.S. market? I know you're very familiar with South Africa, but maybe Mexico. What makes like the U.S. market special, maybe compared to others? I know you talked about the hybrid product, the importance. You have like time of use where basically it makes sense to discharge into the grid.
Correct.
Which will save you money on your inverter costs.
Yeah.
Which is huge.
And that's pulling back your investment, right?
Yes.
That's the main thing you want to do. To get back to your original question, we came back from Mexico City. What makes America stand out from the rest of the world? It's the biggest economy in the world. This is where it's happening. You look at the show, you look at the presence of all the brands that are here. It's a recognizable market. Not only that, you've got the biggest EV market in the world. So customers are at an advanced stage in technology, and they're just looking to stay ahead of the curve. So for us to come in here, bring a product that is relatable to the market, that's our main focus. Going back to Mexico runs on the same sort of power standard that the US runs, which is 110 and 240. So our product will definitely meet their standard. They also work on the same specification standard. So we meet all of that. The only difference being is that the Mexican market, it's a very small market, especially in the residential area. It's a niche market. So we're going to launch one product there through a partner, and we're kind of going to test the waters there. It's great for us because we've got the base here in California. It's a 4-hour flight, to Mexico City. So the main thing for us is finding a good partner that can move the volume, support the local techs, and, with the backup to the backup.
The backup to the backup, which is one of the major themes, but a lot of themes: localization, customer service, high-end technology company, from engineers, all the certifications completed, not pending. This has been like an amazing podcast interview. Is there anything else that we should know about Luxpower's entrance into the U.S. market that we haven't spoken about?
One of the things that I want to point out, Luxpower, the head office based in Shenzhen in China, just the R&D department, just the floor that holds the engineers and R&D, there's over 100 employees there. Each one is focused on their particular priority, but their responsibility. I've had the privilege of working there for a couple of weeks earlier this year, and what stood out to me was how driven everyone is. The employees take their roles, it's personal. If something doesn't work, if the color is slightly off on the monitoring, or there's a spelling error, or whatever it is, they take it personal. So it was such an eye-opener to see a group of people. They're all highly qualified individuals, specialists in their field. But the main thing is, I'm going to circle right back to it. They're always listening. You can contact them anytime. I feel bad sometimes. I know for South Africa, China is 6 hours ahead. For LA, it's 15 hours ahead. Guess what? You send a message, I can guarantee you somebody's going to. They don't have a tech support at luxpowertech.com website that you got to send an email and pray that somebody reads it somewhere. No, Luxpower, you get the individuals. You get their personal WeChat or WhatsApp number, the lines of communication are open. And I'm talking about from distributor to manufacturer, from tech to distributor. So we have that channel. There's a line of communication, but it's open, and you can get answers within hours, sometimes within minutes, if everybody's on the same platform at the same time.
That's always a concern of technicians, how quickly they can respond. Great to hear about full mindset of perfection and trying to do your best. One thing I've noticed as well is everyone I've met at the Luxpower team are extremely humble.
I'm the least of it.
Well, you're the face of Luxpower USA. I think because of your experience, all your solar experience, and being a distributor of their product in South Africa really helps here in the US market. And I'm sure this is going to be a very successful show. I like how the booth is set up.
It's important to us. And I'm also excited about this podcast. You've been fantastic. You've got a fantastic listener base. And you're putting your reputation on the brand, to put it out on your channel and put it out there. We appreciate you as well. We appreciate what you're doing for us. It's fantastic. And you're on a mission. And our mission is to bring affordable solar energy to everyone. Like I said earlier, the sun shines for everyone. Let's make the opportunity great for everyone.
Oh, yeah, definitely. There's so much economic opportunity related to solar. And I think people who haven't come to the show see the solar industry, renewable energy industry, going to grow exponentially. It's just really starting here with the Inflation Reduction Act. This has basically created certainty in the U.S. solar market. Now being in place for a year, we now have guidelines. It seems like next year is going to be an extremely exponential year for solar development and construction in the U.S. This is a perfect time for Luxpower to come into the market.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And, just walking around here, looking at all of our competitors, all of the players in the market, I like competition. Competition's good. Competition creates a healthy market, creates a healthy environment. When you have a monopoly, there's no topping to the glass ceiling. But when you bring in good quality competitors, they're always pushing for innovation and to keep prices affordable, even to sustain a good market.
That's huge competition. And there's so much competition, as you know, and the things that Luxpower is doing that we spoke about is how you differentiate from that competition.
That's right. We need to stay on the cutting edge of technology and keep the backup to the backup.
Yeah, for sure. The backup to the backup. Things change so quickly in the industry.
Yeah.
And you have to constantly be adapting. Yeah. So that's great that you're doing that. And, everything's about long-term relations.
Yeah.
So obviously I did a lot of due diligence for our podcast about Luxpower. So I appreciate you as well wanting to basically voice your message through the Solar Maverick podcast as your entrance to the U.S. market. Yeah. So I do really appreciate the opportunity of the Luxpower team. And it's all about long-term collaboration. So this has been an amazing interview, Andy. I really appreciate your time. I know it's like a really busy time here at the conference.
Yeah.
If our listeners who we call Mavericks want to learn more about Luxpower, what's the best way for them to do that?
Okay, so the best way to get in touch with us, obviously, we've got luxpowertech.com. That's our URL, our website. We also have a YouTube channel, which is also the Luxpower Tech. So that's spelled Lux, as it is on the name, the LUXPOWERTEK with a K, not CH. Onto YouTube, you'll see a number of our videos there. And then you can also see other popular YouTube channels that viewed our product, giving us positive reviews. And we like negative reviews as well, because guess what? It sharpens our technology. If we go back for another huddle, we fix it.
Yeah, that's great. We'll have that all in the notes of the podcast as well. Thank you again, Andy, for making time.
It's my pleasure.
And look forward to seeing you soon.
Yeah, well, 100%.
Thank you.
Go well. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the Solar Maverick podcast. The Solar Maverick podcast is brought to you by Renew Energy. We're a solar development and consulting firm. If you believe that this podcast is adding value to you, please give us a 5-star review and share with those that you think could benefit from this information. Please email all questions, suggestions, and feedback to info@renewenergy.com. That's info@reneuenergy.com. The Solar Maverick podcast is produced by Podcast Laundry and executive produced by Benoit Thanjan and Kevin Y. Brown.